I'm going to die tonight because I couldn't afford ramen noodles. Let me explain. 3 days ago, I was standing behind the counter of Stop and Go Mini Mart, my name tag slightly crooked, watching my bank account hit -$12 while simultaneously getting a text from my landlord that made my stomach drop. Eviction notice. 48 hours. I had 48 hours to come up with $800 or I'd be sleeping in my 2009 Honda Civic that barely started on good days. The fluorescent lights above me flickered like they were mocking my life choices. A customer was yelling at me because we were out of his preferred brand of energy drink, as if I personally drank all of them just to spite him. I smiled through it because minimum wage doesn't cover the luxury of having dignity. My phone buzzed again. Piper. My best friend and the only reason I hadn't completely lost my mind yet. Emergency. Coming over after your shift. Don't make plans. I texted back, my plans involve crying and eating whatever condiments I can find in my fridge, so yeah, I'm free. 6 hours later, I dragged myself up 3 flights of stairs to my apartment because the elevator had been broken for 2 months and my landlord had the audacity to act surprised every time I mentioned it. The eviction notice was still taped to my door, bright orange and impossible to ignore. I ripped it down, crumpled it, then smoothed it back out because denial wasn't going to pay my rent. Inside, my apartment looked like a crime scene where the victim was my credit score. Pizza boxes I'd been reusing as plates, a couch I'd found on the sidewalk, walls so thin I could hear my neighbor's terrible taste in music at all hours. Piper burst through the door without knocking because we were past boundaries at this point in our friendship. Okay, so don't freak out, she said, which is exactly what people say right before you should absolutely freak out. What happened? Did someone die? Am I dying? Are we both dying? No one's dying. Well, statistically someone is dying somewhere, but that's not the point. She threw herself onto my sidewalk couch, her perfectly styled hair somehow still perfect despite the chaos. I got a job offer. That's amazing. I thought you were unemployed and broke like me. I am. Was. Whatever. But here's the thing. She pulled out her phone, scrolled, then shoved it in my face. Household staff position. Live-in. $35,000 a month. I blinked. Read it again. Blinked harder. Piper, that's not real. That's a scam. That's human trafficking. You're going to end up in someone's basement. It's legit. I verified it. Called the agency, checked references, did a background check on the employer. It's real. $35,000 a month. That was more money than I'd seen in my entire 23 years of disappointing life decisions combined. That was pay off my student loans and still have money for actual food kind of money. So when do you start? I asked, trying to sound supportive while internally screaming because I was about to be homeless and she was about to be rich. I'm not taking it. I'm sorry, what? She stood up, pacing my tiny living room in 3 steps. It's too weird. Live-in position at some mansion for some reclusive rich guy who apparently goes through household staff like normal people go through toilet paper. The agency lady said the last 5 people quit within 2 weeks. Red flags everywhere. Red flags that pay $35,000 a month. Exactly. Something's wrong with this situation. My brain was doing math at speeds it had never achieved in actual math class. $35,000 a month meant I could pay rent, buy food, fix my car, maybe even afford therapy to process whatever fresh trauma this would inevitably create. Piper, I said slowly, what if I took it? She stopped pacing. No. Hear me out. Absolutely not. Did you miss the part where 5 people quit? Where it's weird and suspicious and probably dangerous? I'm already in danger. Danger of being homeless. Danger of starving. Danger of my car being repossessed even though it's barely worth the gas in the tank. She grabbed my shoulders. This is different danger. Rich people danger. The kind where you sign NDAs and maybe end up disappeared. I'm going to be disappeared by my landlord anyway when he throws me onto the street. We stared at each other. She knew I was right. I knew she knew I was right. My eviction notice sat on the counter between us like a third person in the conversation. Welcome to DOM Romance Stories. If you're even considering this insanity, hit that subscribe button right now because what happens next is absolutely going to make you question my decision-making skills. Fine, she said finally. But I'm coming with you to the interview. And if anything feels off, we're leaving immediately. Deal. She pulled up the agency's number. Made the call. Spoke in her professional voice that she saved for situations that required her to sound like an adult. I listened to her explain that she was referring her friend, that I was reliable and experienced and definitely not someone who once accidentally set a microwave on fire trying to heat up leftover pizza. She hung up. Interview tomorrow. 10 a.m. Don't be late. What do I wear to interview for a job I'm completely unqualified for? Something that says I'm competent but also won't sue you when things get weird. Inspiring. That night I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed googling how to be a housekeeper and watching YouTube videos of people folding fitted sheets like it was black magic. My relevant experience was successfully keeping myself alive on $3 a day and knowing how to remove mystery stains from thrift store clothing. At 3 in the morning, I gave up on sleep and practiced my confident face in the bathroom mirror. I looked constipated. I tried looking professional. I looked like I was having a stroke. I settled for looking desperate because at least that was honest. Morning came too fast. Piper showed up with coffee and a blazer she insisted I borrow. You look terrified, she said. That's because I am terrified. Good. Terror keeps you alert. Just don't let them see it. The address led us out of the city, through neighborhoods that got progressively nicer until we were in areas where the houses had names instead of numbers. We turned onto a private road that wound through iron gates that looked like they could stop a small army. Then I saw it. The mansion. Calling it a house would be like calling the ocean damp. It sprawled across the hilltop like something from a movie about rich people and their rich people problems. White stone, columns, gardens that probably required a full-time staff just to maintain. And surrounding it all, men in dark suits with earpieces and the kind of posture that screamed security. Piper, I whispered, why does a house need armed guards? Rich people paranoia? That's a lot of paranoia. We pulled up to the entrance. My heart was trying to escape my chest. A woman in a crisp suit stood waiting, clipboard in hand, expression that suggested she'd seen everything and been impressed by none of it. You must be East Law clerk, she said, looking me up and down with the enthusiasm of someone inspecting gas station sushi. That's me. Ready to clean things. Very professionally. Her eyebrow raised a fraction of an inch. I'm Celeste, household manager. Follow me. The interior made the exterior look modest. Marble floors, a staircase that belonged in a palace, art that was definitely original and definitely worth more than my life. We passed more security guards. They all watched me with expressions ranging from curiosity to skepticism. Celeste led me to an office that screamed old money and new power. Dark wood, floor-to-ceiling windows, furniture that probably cost more than my student loans. Wait here. Someone will be with you shortly. She left. I stood there trying not to touch anything because I was pretty sure breathing too hard on that base would cost me my theoretical salary. The door opened. I turned around and my brain short-circuited. The man who walked in was not what I expected. Mid-30s maybe, tall, dark hair pushed back like he'd been running his hands through it, suit that was tailored within an inch of its life but somehow still looked casual on him. He had the kind of face that made you forget how to form words, sharp features, dark eyes that seemed to calculate everything they saw, and a presence that filled the entire room. He also looked exhausted. Like he hadn't slept in days. Like he was carrying the weight of something heavy and invisible. East Law clerk, he said, his voice deep and slightly rough around the edges. Yes. That's me. I'm here to clean. And organize. And probably other household things. His lips twitched. Almost a smile but not quite. I'm Kieran Castellano. This is my home. It's very nice. Very large. Lots of space to clean. Stop talking, my brain screamed. Stop talking right now. Have a seat. I sat. He remained standing, studying me like I was a puzzle he was trying to solve. Your application says you have 5 years of household management experience. I absolutely did not have 5 years of anything except accumulating debt and questionable life choices. Piper must have embellished my resume. Heavily. Yes, I lied. I've worked in various private residences. Very private. Very residential. He walked to the window, hands in his pockets. The previous 5 staff members all quit within 2 weeks. Do you know why? No? Because this position requires discretion. Complete discretion. What you see here, what you hear here, stays here. No exceptions. I can be discreet. I once kept a secret for 3 whole months. What secret? If I told you it wouldn't be a secret anymore. This time he definitely almost smiled. The job pays $35,000 a month. Live-in position. Room and board included. You'll have your own quarters, full access to amenities, but you're expected to be available when needed. $35,000 a month to clean a mansion and keep my mouth shut. This was either the best or worst opportunity of my life. Before you're even thinking about scrolling past this, hit that like button and drop a comment telling me if you'd take this job or run because this decision is about to change everything. There's one more thing, he said, turning back to me. This household has very specific security protocols. You'll need to sign an NDA. You'll undergo a background check. And you need to understand that privacy is paramount here. I understand. Do you? Because the people who work here see things. They overhear conversations. They become privy to information that some might consider valuable. I need to know that you won't become a liability. A liability. Right. I was barely an asset to myself. I need this job, I said, deciding honesty might be my only actual qualification. I'm about to be evicted. I have $12 to my name. I will sign whatever you need me to sign and keep whatever secrets you need me to keep because the alternative is living in my car that barely starts. He studied me for a long moment. Something shifted in his expression. Not sympathy exactly, but understanding maybe. Fair enough. He walked to his desk, pulled out a stack of papers. Sign these. Every page. Don't skip anything. I started reading. Non-disclosure agreement, standard. Acknowledgement of security protocols, reasonable. Agreement to submit to random searches of my quarters, getting weird. Acceptance of all liability for injury or death in the line of duty, wait what? Why would a housekeeper need to accept liability for death? This is a precaution. This household has had security incidents in the past. I need to know everyone here understands the risks. Security incidents like what? Break-ins? Angry neighbors? Something like that. Every instinct I had was screaming that this was wrong. That normal housekeeping jobs didn't require accepting death clauses. That I should thank him politely and run. But $35,000 a month would solve every problem in my life. Every single one. I signed everything. Every page. Didn't read most of it because denial was cheaper than legal counsel. He collected the papers, then pulled out an envelope. Your signing bonus. $5,000. I stared at the envelope like it might explode. $5,000 just for signing papers. You start Monday, he said. Be here at 6 a.m. Celeste will show you to your quarters and go over your duties. He walked to the door, then paused. Miss Clerk, people don't last long here. Not because I'm difficult to work for, but because this life isn't what most people expect. If you're having second thoughts, now would be the time. I'm not having second thoughts. You should be. He left me alone in that office holding $5,000 and the growing realization that I might have just made the worst decision of my entire life. I found Piper in the car, practically vibrating with anxiety. How did it go? Did you get murdered? Are you being trafficked? Do I need to call the police? I got the job. What? She grabbed my shoulders. Isla, no. Tell me you didn't. I held up the envelope. $5,000 signing bonus. I start Monday. The color drained from her face. This is insane. This is actually insane. What did he say? What are the job duties? Why does he need a housekeeper so badly that he's paying $35,000 a month? He said something about security incidents and needing discretion. Security incidents. Isla, normal houses don't have security incidents. Normal housekeeping jobs don't pay $5,000 signing bonuses. I know. So why are you doing this? Because I'm out of options. Because this is my one chance to not be homeless. Because maybe, just maybe, I can handle whatever weird rich people problems he has. She stared at me. You're going to die. Probably. But at least I'll die with money in my bank account. We drove back to my apartment in silence. She was angry. I was terrified. Both of us knew there was no talking me out of this. That weekend, I paid my rent. Bought actual groceries. Got my car fixed. It felt surreal, having money. Being able to walk into a store and buy something without checking my bank account 17 times first. Piper came over Saturday night with wine and concern. Last chance to back out, she said. I'm not backing out. Isla, something is wrong with this situation. I can feel it. Rich guys don't pay that much for housekeepers unless there's something seriously wrong. Maybe he's just generous. Generous rich people don't exist. They're either criminals or crazy or both. She wasn't wrong. But I'd already made my choice. Already spent the signing bonus. Already committed to whatever fresh nightmare I'd volunteered for. Sunday night, I couldn't sleep. I lay in bed trying to convince myself this was normal. That Monday would be fine. That I was worrying over nothing. At midnight, my phone buzzed. Unknown number. Car will pick you up at 5:30 a.m. Bring only personal essentials. Everything else will be provided. Kieran. This was really happening. In less than 6 hours, I'd be living in a mansion with a man who had security incidents and death clauses and secrets that required NDAs. I tried on every combination of clothes I owned. Nothing said competent housekeeper. Everything said unemployed millennial with delusions of adequacy. I settled on black pants, a simple blouse, and shoes that looked professional but were comfortable enough to run in if needed. Why I thought I might need to run, I didn't examine too closely. At 5:30 exactly, a black car pulled up outside my apartment. The driver didn't get out, didn't honk, just waited with the engine running. Piper emerged from her room, still in pajamas, looking like she'd aged 10 years overnight. This is your last chance. I'll be fine. If you die, I'm taking your book collection. If I die, you can have everything. It's all from thrift stores anyway. We hugged. It felt too much like goodbye. The car door opened as I approached. I couldn't see inside. Just darkness and the smell of expensive leather. I got in. The door closed behind me with a solid thunk that sounded like a sealed fate. We drove back through the city, through those progressively nicer neighborhoods, through those iron gates. In daylight, the mansion looked even more impressive. And more intimidating. The driver finally spoke. Celeste is waiting at the entrance. She'll show you to your quarters and go over your duties. I got out on legs that had forgotten how joints worked. Celeste stood at the door, same crisp suit, same unimpressed expression. Miss Clerk. Right on time. Follow me. The mansion was somehow bigger on the inside. We walked past the main areas I'd seen during the interview, through hallways lined with art that probably required its own insurance, up a back staircase to the third floor. Your quarters, Celeste said, opening a door. The room was bigger than my entire apartment. Actual bedroom with a real bed, a sitting area, a bathroom that had both a tub and a shower, a closet that had been stocked with uniforms in my exact size. Uniforms are required during working hours, Celeste continued. Black and white, standard household staff. Your duties will include general cleaning, laundry, meal preparation when the chef is unavailable, and any other tasks Mr. Castellano requires. What kind of other tasks? Whatever he asks for. She handed me a tablet. Security protocols are on here. Read them. Memorize them. There will be a test. A test? Mr. Castellano takes security very seriously. Every member of this household needs to understand the protocols. If you don't pass the test, you don't stay. She left me alone in that room that was nicer than anywhere I'd ever lived. I opened the tablet. Started reading the security protocols. Rule 1, never answer the door without checking the security camera first. Rule 2, never discuss Mr. Castellano's schedule with anyone outside this household. Rule 3, if you see anything unusual, report it immediately to security. Rule 4, in case of emergency, proceed to the nearest safe room. Safe room. This house had safe rooms. Multiple safe rooms. I kept reading. The protocols went on for pages. What to do if there was a breach. How to identify authorized personnel. Emergency contact procedures. Evacuation routes. This wasn't a mansion. This was a fortress. A knock on my door made me jump hard enough to drop the tablet. Miss Clerk? A male voice, young, friendly. I'm Ezra. I'm supposed to show you around before you meet with Mr. Castellano. I opened the door. Ezra was maybe 25, baby-faced, with the kind of smile that probably got him out of trouble regularly. You're the new housekeeper, right? He said, already walking down the hall like I should follow. That's me. I give you 2 weeks. That's optimistic. He laughed. I like you. Come on, I'll show you where everything is before Celeste comes back and makes it boring. We walked through the mansion. He pointed out the kit clerk, which was bigger than most restaurants. The dining room, which could seat 20 people. The library, which had more books than I'd seen in my entire life. The gym, the theater, the wine cellar, the panic rooms. Why does one person need all this? I asked. Mr. Castellano likes his privacy. And his security. That's a lot of security for privacy. Ezra's expression shifted. Got more serious. Look, you seem nice, so I'm going to give you some advice. Don't ask questions. Don't get curious. Do your job, keep your head down, and you'll be fine. And if I get curious? Then you'll end up like the last housekeeper. Gone in less than a week. What happened to her? He shrugged. No idea. She was here one day, gone the next. Celeste said she quit. Didn't even give notice. That's not ominous at all. We ended up back at the main staircase. Celeste was waiting, looking at her watch like we were late even though we weren't. Mr. Castellano will see you now, she said. My stomach dropped. I'd been here less than 2 hours and already I was meeting with him again. Don't look so terrified, Ezra whispered. He's actually not that bad. Just intense. Celeste led me to a different office. Smaller, more personal. Windows overlooking the gardens. A desk covered in papers and what looked like architectural plans. Kieran stood by the window, phone to his ear, speaking in rapid Italian. He gestured for me to wait. I stood there trying not to eavesdrop but also trying to understand what was happening. His tone was sharp, angry. Whoever he was talking to was getting thoroughly dressed down in a language I didn't speak. He hung up. Turned to face me. "Miss Clerk. How are you settling in? The room is amazing. Much nicer than anywhere I've lived." "Good." He walked to his desk, sat down. "Let's go over your duties in detail." For the next hour, he explained exactly what he expected. Cleaning schedules, how he liked things organized, meal preferences, what areas of the house were off limits, how to handle visitors, what to do if something felt wrong. "If anything ever feels wrong, you tell me immediately," he said. "Don't wait. Don't second-guess yourself. If something seems off, it probably is. What kind of things should I be worried about? Anything unusual? Anyone who shouldn't be here? Any changes to routine? I've had issues in the past with people trying to access this property who shouldn't be here." "Issues like what?" He studied me for a long moment. "Like people who want things from me that I'm not willing to give." That was vague enough to mean anything. "I'll be having a business dinner here tonight," he continued. 6 people. You'll help with service. I've never served a formal dinner before. You'll figure it out. He said it like it was a fact, not a hope. That evening, I helped Celeste prepare for the dinner. She moved through the kit clerk like a general commanding troops, efficient and precise. "The guests are business associates," she said. "Serve from the left, clear from the right. Don't speak unless spoken to. Don't make eye contact. Don't react to anything you hear." Why would I react to what I hear? Because rich men say things at dinner that they assume the help won't remember or care about. They're wrong, but that's not your concern. The guests arrived at 7. I watched from the kit clerk as they were shown into the dining room. 4 men, 2 women, all dressed like money and power. Kieran sat at the head of the table, transformed from the somewhat casual man I'd spoken with earlier into something sharper. More dangerous. He commanded that room without even trying. Service began. I carried plates with shaking hands, trying to remember everything Celeste had taught me in the past 3 hours. Serve from the left. Don't spill. Don't trip. Don't embarrass yourself. The conversation was all business. Real estate deals, development projects, things that sounded legitimate but had undertones I couldn't quite identify. Then the wine came out. Celeste poured for everyone except Kieran, who preferred whiskey. I stood by the wall, trying to be invisible, watching. One of the men, older, silver hair, expensive watch, raised his glass. To new partnerships and profitable ventures. Everyone drank except Kieran, who was still nursing his whiskey. I don't know what made me notice. Maybe it was my anxiety brain working overtime. Maybe it was the way that man smiled when he said it. Maybe it was the way one of the women glanced at her wine glass before setting it down without drinking. But something felt wrong. I stepped forward without thinking. My foot caught on absolutely nothing because I was a disaster with legs. I stumbled, fell forward, grabbed at the tablecloth to catch myself. The cloth pulled. Wine glasses tipped. The entire table descended into chaos as red wine spilled everywhere, soaking into the white tablecloth, dripping onto expensive suits, creating absolute pandemonium. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it right now because what happens in the next 10 seconds is going to be absolutely insane and you'll want to see how badly I just screwed up my first day. "I'm so sorry," I gasped, trying to clean up the mess with napkins that were definitely not designed for this level of disaster. "I'm so sorry, I don't know what happened, I just tripped." Celeste appeared with towels, her face a mask of professional horror. Kieran stood, his expression unreadable. "Everyone, please excuse us for a moment while we clean this up." The guests moved to the sitting room, some amused, some annoyed, all of them dripping with wine. Celeste grabbed the wine-soaked tablecloth, started bundling it up. "I'll get this to the laundry immediately." "No," Kieran said, his voice sharp. "Leave it." "Sir?" "Leave the tablecloth. I want to see something." He pulled out his phone, made a call. Frost, I need you in the dining room. Now. Bring a testing kit. Testing kit? A man appeared within seconds. Tall, built like he could bench press a car, carrying a small case. He didn't ask questions, just pulled out what looked like scientific equipment and started testing the spilled wine. His face went pale. Boss, he said quietly. Positive for arsenic. High concentration. Enough to kill everyone at this table. The room went silent. That awful, terrible silence that comes right before everything goes to hell. Kieran's face transformed into something cold and terrifying. Lock down the house. No one leaves. No one makes any calls. Find out who brought this wine and how it got into my home. Frost moved immediately, speaking into his earpiece, coordinating with security. Kieran turned to me. Are you hurt? I stared at the wine-soaked tablecloth that could have killed him. That would have killed him if I hadn't tripped. I don't think so. I think I just accidentally saved your life. His eyes met mine. Something passed between us. Something intense and complicated and absolutely inappropriate for the situation. Yes, he said quietly. I think you did. Comment below if you think Isla just got incredibly lucky or if her anxiety brain actually saved lives, and hit that subscribe button because this is just the beginning and things are about to get so much worse. The guests were not happy about being locked in a dining room while security swept the house. One of the men, the silver-haired one who'd made the toast, kept checking his watch like he had somewhere more important to be than a potential murder investigation. I stood in the corner, still holding a wine-soaked napkin, trying to process what had just happened. Poison. Actual poison. In the wine. That I'd spilled. By accident. Because I was clumsy and anxious and apparently had the survival instincts of a caffeinated squirrel. Frost and his team worked with terrifying efficiency. They questioned everyone. Checked bags. Reviewed security footage. The whole time, Kieran stood by the window, perfectly still, watching everything with those dark eyes that seemed to calculate 1,000 possibilities at once. Sir, Frost said after 20 minutes. The wine was brought by Mr. Volkov's assistant. She claims it was a gift from a mutual business associate. Which associate? Kieran's voice was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that made everyone nervous. She won't say. Says she was just told to bring it. Didn't ask questions. Bring her here. They brought in a young woman, mid-20s, terrified, makeup running from crying. She looked at Kieran like he was death personified. I didn't know, she sobbed. I swear I didn't know. Drave just gave me the wine and said to bring it to dinner. Said it was a gift. I didn't question it. I never question it. Who's Drave? Kieran asked. Drave Sokolov. He works for Victor Cub. The name meant nothing to me, but I watched every person in that room react. Subtle reactions. A tightening of shoulders. A quick glance. Fear. Victor Cub, Kieran repeated slowly. Interesting. Please, the assistant begged. I didn't know. I would never. I have a family. A daughter. Please. Kieran studied her for a long moment. Then he nodded to Frost. Let her go. She's just a pawn. But I want every detail about Drave Sokolov on my desk within the hour. Where he lives, where he works, who he talks to, what he eats for breakfast. Everything. The woman was escorted out, still crying, still thanking him. The other guests were released shortly after with apologies and assurances that this was an isolated incident. They left quickly, probably reconsidering their business relationships with a man who almost got poisoned at his own dinner table. Finally, it was just me, Kieran, Celeste, and Frost in the dining room that still smelled like spilled wine and narrowly avoided death. Celeste, Kieran said, make sure Miss Clerk gets the rest of the evening off. She's had an eventful first day. Sir, I should help clean up. You just saved my life. I think you've done enough for today. Celeste ushered me out before I could argue. We walked back toward my quarters in silence. When we reached my door, she turned to me with an expression I couldn't quite read. That was either the luckiest or unluckiest thing I've ever seen, she said. I'm leaning toward unlucky since I apparently work for someone who gets poisoned at dinner parties. Her lips twitched. Almost a smile. Get some rest. Tomorrow will be intense. Mr. Castellano will want to understand exactly what made you trip at that precise moment. I tripped because I'm clumsy. Right. She clearly didn't believe me. Well, whatever the reason, you should know that what happened tonight makes you valuable. And in this house, valuable can be either very good or very dangerous. Sometimes both. She left me with that comforting thought. I collapsed on my bed, still in my wine-stained uniform, and pulled out my phone. 17 missed calls from Piper. I called her back. Oh my God, she screamed before I could say hello. I've been freaking out. You didn't answer your phone for 12 hours. I thought you were dead. Almost was. Kind of. Accidentally prevented it though. I told her everything. The dinner, the wine, the poison, the tripping, the absolute chaos. She listened with increasing horror. Isla, you need to leave. Right now. Tonight. This man has people trying to poison him. That's not normal. That's mob boss behavior. That's get yourself killed behavior. I know. So leave. I can't. Yes, you can. Just pack your stuff and go. I'll come get you right now. Piper, he almost died tonight. If I hadn't tripped, he'd be dead. All those people would be dead. That's not your responsibility. But it felt like it was. The moment I saw that wine spill, the moment Frost confirmed it was poisoned, I felt responsible. Like somehow my disaster tendencies had saved lives. You're going to get hurt, Piper said quietly. People like that, people who have enemies who poison wine, they destroy everyone around them. You can't save him from that. I'm not trying to save him. I'm just trying to do my job. Your job is supposed to be folding towels, not preventing assassinations. She had a point. But I'd signed the contracts. Taken the money. Committed to this insanity. Give me 1 week, I said. If things get worse, I'll leave. I promise. Things are already worse. They started at worse and they're heading toward catastrophic. Then 1 week to catastrophic. That's all I'm asking. She sighed, long and defeated. 1 week. But I'm checking in every day. And if you miss even one call, I'm coming to get you. Deal. We hung up. I lay there staring at the ceiling of my too-nice room in this too-big house, working for a man who clearly had enemies that wanted him dead. I should have been packing. Should have been running. Should have been doing literally anything except what I did next, which was fall asleep in my wine-stained clothes because apparently surviving poisoning attempts was exhausting. I woke up to knocking. Sunlight streamed through windows I'd forgotten to close. My phone said it was 6 in the morning. Miss Clerk, Ezra's voice through the door. Mr. Castellano wants to see you in his office. Now? Yeah, now. Wear something clean. You smell like a wine cellar. I showered in record time, threw on one of the provided uniforms, and tried to make my hair look less like I'd been electrocuted. Failed, but at least I tried. Ezra was waiting in the hall, looking way too cheerful for 6 in the morning. So you're like a hero now, he said as we walked. Everyone's talking about how the new housekeeper saved the boss from assassination attempt number God knows what. Number what? He stopped walking. Oh. You don't know. Know what? Nothing. Forget I said anything. Ezra. Look, it's not my place to tell you. But maybe ask Mr. Castellano how many times people have tried to kill him. The answer might be enlightening. Or terrifying. Probably both. We reached the office. Ezra knocked twice and left me there with a sympathetic smile that did not make me feel better about anything. Enter. Kieran sat behind his desk, looking like he'd been awake all night. Papers everywhere, multiple coffee cups, the kind of controlled chaos that came from someone trying to solve a problem through sheer force of will. Miss Clerk. Sit. I sat. He studied me for a long moment. Those dark eyes that seemed to see everything, calculate everything, process everything. Tell me exactly what happened last night, he said. Every detail. What made you move toward the table? What made you trip? Everything. I told him the truth. That I didn't know. That something felt wrong. That the man's smile seemed off. That the woman looked at her wine glass weird. That my anxiety brain, which usually just made me panic about nothing, screamed danger. So your anxiety saved my life. Apparently my crippling fear of everything has finally become useful. His lips twitched. Almost a smile. Do you know who Victor Cub is? No. He's a very dangerous man who controls a significant portion of this city's less legal enterprises. Drugs, weapons, trafficking. He's been trying to expand into my territory for the past 6 months. Your territory? Kieran leaned back in his chair. Miss Clerk, what do you think I do for a living? The job posting said real estate development. That's one thing I do. Among many others. Some more legal than others. My stomach dropped. Oh. Does that change your desire to work here? Honestly? I don't know. Are you asking me to do illegal things? No. I'm asking you to clean my house, prepare occasional meals, and apparently use your anxiety superpowers to prevent me from dying. That's all. That's all feels like a significant understatement. He stood, walked to the window. Last night was the 13th attempt on my life in the past year. Poisonings, shootings, car bombs, hired assassins. Cub wants me dead because I won't hand over my businesses. The legitimate ones or the less legitimate ones. 13 attempts? Unlucky number. Though I suppose I've been fairly lucky surviving them. This is insane. This whole situation is insane. Yes. I should quit. Probably. But I'm not going to. He turned to look at me. Why not? Because $35,000 a month solves every problem in my life. And because I took a breath, because you gave me a chance when you knew I was underqualified and desperate. You could have sent me away after last night. Could have blamed me for the chaos. But you didn't. You thanked me. That's not nothing. His expression softened. Just slightly. Barely noticeable. But it was there. You saved my life, Miss Clerk. That earns you more than thanks. It earns you answers, if you want them. About who I am. What I do. Why people want me dead. Do I want those answers? That depends. How comfortable are you with moral ambiguity? On a scale of 1 to 10, I'm probably a 6. Maybe 7 on good days. Then you'll fit in fine here. Before I could respond, his phone rang. He glanced at it, frowned. I need to take this. We'll continue this conversation later. For now, take the day to settle in. Read those security protocols. And Miss Clerk? Yes? Thank you. For tripping. For spilling the wine. For having anxiety that apparently saves lives. Thank you. You're welcome? He answered his phone and I left, my brain trying to process everything I'd just learned. My new boss was involved in illegal activities. People wanted him dead. I'd accidentally prevented assassination attempt number 13. If you're not absolutely hooked on this story right now, I don't know what to tell you. Hit that subscribe button and drop a comment telling me if you'd stay or run because Isla's about to make some very questionable decisions. I found Celeste in the kit clerk, coordinating with the chef about dinner plans. Ah, Miss Clerk. Good. You'll be handling the second floor today. Fresh linens, dust everything, organize the library. The library I saw had thousands of books. That's going to take all day. Yes. That's why I'm assigning it to you now. She handed me supplies and a tablet with detailed instructions. I made my way to the second floor, found the library, and stood in the doorway staring at the sheer amount of books. This was going to take forever. I started systematically. One shelf at a time. Dust, organize, check for damage. The books were fascinating. First editions, rare manuscripts, books in languages I couldn't identify. Whoever had collected these had taste and money and possibly too much time. I was 3 shelves in when I found the photographs. They were tucked between books, almost hidden. Old photographs, black and white, showing a younger Kieran with people I didn't recognize. One photo showed him with an older man who had the same sharp features, the same intense eyes. His father, probably. Another showed a woman with kind eyes and a gentle smile. His mother, maybe. The last photo made me stop. Kieran, maybe 10 years younger, standing with a young woman. She was beautiful, dark hair, bright smile, holding his hand like he was her entire world. On the back, someone had written in elegant script, Kay and Natalia, before everything changed. Who's Natalia? A voice behind me made me jump and drop the photo. Kieran stood in the doorway. I'm sorry, I found these while cleaning. I wasn't snooping. He picked up the photo I'd dropped. Stared at it with an expression I couldn't read. My wife, he said quietly. Wife. Present tense? Former wife. She died 3 years ago. Oh God. I'm so sorry. I shouldn't have. It's fine. He set the photo down. She was killed because of me. Because of who I am. What I do. Cub sent men to our home. She was there. I wasn't. By the time I got there, it was too late. The pain in his voice was so raw it physically hurt to hear. That's why you have all the security, I said. All the protocols. The safe rooms. You're trying to make sure it doesn't happen again. I'm trying. But Cub is persistent. And creative. The poisoning last night was just his latest attempt. How do you live like this? Constantly looking over your shoulder. Never knowing if today's the day someone succeeds. I don't have a choice. This life, this business, it's all I know. My father ran it before me. His father before him. I was born into this. Natalia knew that when she married me. She thought love was enough to overcome the danger. She was wrong. He turned to leave. Mr. Castellano? He stopped. For what it's worth, I don't think she was wrong about love. I think the world just sucks sometimes. And I'm sorry it took her from you. He looked at me for a long moment. Thank you, Miss Clerk. That's kind. He left me alone in the library surrounded by books and photographs and the weight of his grief. I worked for hours, trying not to think about Natalia. About a woman who loved someone dangerous and paid the ultimate price. About whether I was being stupid staying here, getting attached to a situation that could get me killed. My phone buzzed. Piper. Day 2 check-in. Still alive? Barely. Found out my boss is basically a crime lord whose wife was murdered by his rival. So that's fun. Isla. Leave. Now. Can't. I'm emotionally invested now. You've been there 2 days. Yeah, but they're really intense days. This is how people die in movies. They get emotionally invested and then they get shot. I'll be careful. That's not reassuring. I finished the library around 6. My back hurt, my arms hurt, everything hurt. But the library looked amazing. Organized, clean, ready for someone to actually use it. I headed back to my quarters to change out of my dusty uniform when I heard voices. Angry voices. Coming from Kieran's office. I should have kept walking. Should have minded my business. But my anxiety brain needed to know if there was danger, so I moved closer. You can't just ignore this, a male voice said. Cub is escalating. The poisoning was a message. He's coming for you. Then I'll be ready, Kieran's voice, calm but firm. You were almost killed. Again. How many times until one succeeds? As many times as it takes. I'm not backing down. I'm not asking you to back down. I'm asking you to be smart. Increase security. Stop taking meetings here. Stop making yourself an easy target. I refuse to live in fear in my own home. Your pride is going to get you killed. Then it gets me killed. But I won't hide. I won't run. This is my territory. My home. Cub wants it, he'll have to take it over my corpse. That's what I'm afraid of. Footsteps approached the door. I scrambled away, trying to look like I hadn't been eavesdropping. The door opened. A man emerged. Tall, late 40s, expensive suit, the kind of presence that commanded respect. He saw me and stopped. You must be the new housekeeper. The one who saved him last night. That's me. Professional wine spiller. He almost smiled. I'm Dante Volkov. I handle Kieran's business interests. The legal ones. Nice to meet you. Take care of him, he said, lowering his voice. He's too stubborn to take care of himself. If you see anything suspicious, anything at all, you tell security immediately. Don't wait. Don't second guess. Just report it. I will. He left, and I stood there wondering what exactly I'd gotten myself into. That night, I couldn't eat. The chef had prepared something amazing, but my stomach was in knots. I kept thinking about Natalia. About Kieran's face when he talked about her. About the fact that this beautiful mansion was also a prison of security protocols and constant danger. I was getting ready for bed when my door burst open. Ezra stood there, breathing hard. We have a situation. Get dressed. Something comfortable you can move in. Now. What's happening? Security breach. Possible intruder on the grounds. Everyone's on lockdown, but Mr. Castellano wants you in the safe room. Why me specifically? Because you're the one who keeps saving his life. He's not taking chances. I threw on jeans and a sweater, followed Ezra through hallways I'd never seen before. We went down, 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 into what had to be the basement. He opened a door disguised as a wall panel, revealing a room that looked like a bunker. Kieran was already there, along with Frost and 2 other security guards I hadn't met. Miss Clerk, Kieran said. Sorry to interrupt your evening. We have an uninvited guest on the property. It's probably nothing, but I'd rather you be safe than sorry. What kind of uninvited guest? The kind with weapons and bad intentions. Oh good. That kind. The safe room was surprisingly comfortable. Couch, TV, mini fridge, bathroom. Apparently, when rich people built panic rooms, they built them nice. We waited. Frost coordinated with his team through an earpiece, giving quiet updates. Suspect spotted near the east fence. Male, approximately 6 feet, armed with what looks like a rifle. My heart was trying to escape my chest. This was real. This was actually happening. Someone was trying to kill Kieran. Again. He's approaching the house, Frost reported. Teams are in position. Kieran stood near the monitors showing security footage. He watched with that same calm intensity one was starting to recognize. Like danger was just another business meeting. Got him, Frost said. Suspect in custody. Stand down. Just like that, it was over. Is this normal? I asked. Do people try to break in often? Kieran looked at me. Often enough that I have a safe room on every floor. That's not comforting. It's not meant to be. It's meant to be honest. We returned upstairs. I saw security dragging a man toward a vehicle. He was screaming in a language I didn't understand. Screaming and struggling and clearly terrified. What will happen to him? I asked. Frost will question him. Find out who sent him. Then we'll decide what to do with him. The casual way he said it made my blood run cold. You're going to kill him. Probably not. Probably just send him back to Cub with a message. But it depends on what we learn. I should have been horrified. Should have been running for the door. But instead, I was just tired. Tired of the constant danger. Tired of wondering when the next attempt would come. Get some rest, Kieran said. Tomorrow we're having a meeting with some business associates. I'll need you to help with service again. Hopefully without the wine spilling this time. I'll try my best. Though no promises. Clumsiness is kind of my thing. Your clumsiness saved my life. I'll take it. I went back to my room but I couldn't sleep. Every sound made me jump. Every shadow looked threatening. I checked the security protocols on my tablet, memorized evacuation routes, identified which rooms were safe rooms. This was my life now. Living in a mansion, working for a crime lord, preventing assassinations through sheer accident. Piper called at midnight. Day 2 update, she demanded. There was a security breach. Armed intruder. We went to a safe room. They caught him. Silence. Piper? I'm booking you a flight. You're leaving. Tonight. Right now. I don't care about the money or the contract. You're leaving. I can't. Yes, you can. Piper, I know this sounds insane, but I think I need to be here. I think there's a reason I got this job. A reason I keep accidentally preventing these attempts. The reason is you're clumsy and anxious. That's not a superpower. That's just you being you. Maybe. But what if that's exactly what he needs? Someone who's too anxious to miss things. Too clumsy to let dangerous situations play out normally. You're rationalizing staying in a death trap. Probably. But I'm staying anyway. She hung up on me. She'd forgive me eventually. Probably. Maybe. I finally fell asleep around 3 and woke up at 6 to Celeste knocking. Big day, she said. Mr. Castellano's associates are arriving at 2. I need you ready by 1. The associates arrived exactly on time. 4 of them, all men, all carrying themselves with that same dangerous confidence. They greeted Kieran with warmth that felt genuine, which somehow made them more terrifying. I served drinks in the sitting room while they talked. Business stuff that sounded legitimate but probably wasn't. Then one of them noticed me. New staff? He asked Kieran. New housekeeper. Miss Clerk. She's been here less than a week. The one who spotted the poison? News travels fast. The man looked at me with interest. Lucky catch. Or do you have experience with poisons? Just experience with anxiety and overthinking everything. They laughed. It felt like passing some kind of test. The meeting continued. I served lunch, cleared plates, tried to be invisible. But I kept catching Kieran looking at me. Quick glances. Checking to make sure I was okay. Making sure I was safe. It felt protective. In a way I wasn't used to. After the associates left, Kieran found me in the kit clerk helping the chef with cleanup. Walk with me, he said. We walked through the gardens. Armed security everywhere, but far enough away to give us privacy. You handled yourself well today, he said. I just served lunch. You served lunch to 4 very dangerous men who would normally make someone like you very nervous. But you didn't show fear. That's impressive. I was terrified the entire time. But you didn't show it. That's the impressive part. We reached a fountain in the center of the garden. The water sparkled in the afternoon sun, peaceful and beautiful and completely at odds with the conversation. Miss Clerk, I need to tell you something. That sounds ominous. Last night's intruder confessed that Cub has increased the bounty on my head. $2 million to whoever kills me. That means more attempts. More dangerous attempts. More professional attempts. $2 million is a lot of motivation. Yes. Which is why I'm giving you the option to leave. No penalties. I'll pay out your full contract for the year. You can take the money, disappear, be safe. Why are you doing this? Because Natalia didn't have a choice. She married me before things got this bad. Before Cub declared war. She was trapped by love and loyalty. You're not trapped. You can leave. And if I don't want to? Then you're either incredibly brave or incredibly stupid. I contained multitudes. He smiled. Actually smiled. Not the almost smile. A real smile that transformed his entire face. If you stay, things will get worse before they get better. If they get better. I can't promise your safety. I can't promise anything except that I'll do everything in my power to keep you alive. That's more than most jobs offer. Most jobs don't come with assassination attempts. True. We stood there by the fountain, the space between us feeling important somehow. Like a line we were both aware of but pretending not to see. I'm staying, I said. Why? Because I've been powerless my whole life. Poor, desperate, one bad day away from disaster. But here, with you, I have power. The power to actually make a difference. To save lives. Even if it's just by accident. Even if it's just yours. His eyes darkened. That's a dangerous reason to stay. All my reasons are dangerous. I'm a disaster wrapped in anxiety with a tendency to trip at crucial moments. You're more than that. Am I? Yes. You're honest in a world full of liars. You're brave without realizing it. And you have instincts that keep saving my life. That makes you invaluable. The way he said invaluable made my heart do something complicated. If you're still watching this, hit that like button and comment what you think is going to happen between these two because the tension is about to get absolutely insane. And subscribe because part 3 is going to blow your mind. We walked back to the house in silence. Comfortable silence. The kind that meant something. That night, I helped serve dinner. Just Kieran and Dante Volkov. They talked business, strategy, how to handle Cub's escalation. We need to send a message, Dante said. Something that shows we're not afraid. I won't start a war that gets innocent people killed, Kieran replied. The war already started. Cub started it when he killed Natalia. Kieran's jaw tightened. Don't. I'm just saying what everyone's thinking. You've been too cautious since her death. Too afraid to make the moves that need to be made. I'm not afraid. I'm careful. There's a difference. Careful gets you poisoned at your own dinner table. Careful kept me alive through 13 attempts. Luck kept you alive through 13 attempts. Luck and a clumsy housekeeper. I dropped the serving spoon I was holding. It clattered against the plate loud enough to make both men look at me. Sorry, I said. Butterfingers. It's kind of my brand. Dante studied me. You really think she's got some kind of sixth sense about danger? I think she pays attention when others don't, Kieran said. I think her anxiety makes her notice things. Small things that matter. Or she's just lucky. Luck runs out eventually. Then we'd better hope her anxiety doesn't. After dinner, I was cleaning up when Kieran came into the kit clerk. You don't have to defend me to your associates, I said. I wasn't defending you. I was stating facts. Dante clearly thinks I'm a liability. Dante thinks everyone's a liability except himself. Don't take it personally. I loaded dishes into the industrial dishwasher. He leaned against the counter, watching. Can I ask you something personal? I said. You can ask. I may not answer. Do you ever think about leaving? Just walking away from all of this? Every day. But you don't. Because this is who I am. What I am. My father built this empire. Bled for it. Killed for it. I can't just abandon it. Even if it kills you? Even then. That's the saddest thing I've ever heard. Welcome to my world, Miss Clerk. We stood there in the kit clerk, him watching me pretending not to notice. The air felt charged. Dangerous in a completely different way than poison or intruders. I should go, I said. It's late. Isla. He'd never used my first name before. It sounded different in his voice. Intimate. Yeah? Be careful. The bounty makes you a target too. Anyone close to me becomes a target. I'll be careful. I mean it. If anything happens to you because of me, I'll never forgive myself. Then I guess we'd better make sure nothing happens to me. I left before I could do something stupid like tell him I was starting to care. That watching him carry the weight of his dead wife and his dangerous business and constant attempts on his life made me want to help. Made me want to stay close even though it was terrifying. My phone rang as I reached my room. Unknown number. Hello? Miss Clerk, a male voice, accented, unfamiliar. My name is Victor Cub. My blood turned to ice. How did you get this number? I have many resources. I'm calling to make you an offer. $500,000 to walk away. To leave Kieran Castellano's employment and never return. I'm not interested. You haven't heard the alternative. The alternative is you die along with him when I finally succeed. And I will succeed, Miss Clerk. It's not a matter of if. It's a matter of when. Then I guess you'd better hope I keep being clumsy at the right moments. I hung up. My hands were shaking. I should tell Kieran. Should report this immediately. But something stopped me. Pride maybe. Or stupidity. Probably both. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes, I heard Cub's voice. Calm, certain, promising death. Morning came and I looked like I'd been hit by a truck. Celeste took one look at me and frowned. Are you ill? Just didn't sleep well. You need to be sharp today. Mr. Castellano has a charity gala tonight. You'll be accompanying him. Me? Why? Because he requested you specifically. Said he wants you close. That felt significant. Too significant for 6 in the morning. The gala was at some museum downtown. Fancy people, expensive clothes, art that probably cost more than my life. Celeste had prepared a dress for me. Black, elegant, way nicer than anything I'd ever worn. I felt like I was playing dress up. Kieran knocked on my door at 7. Ready? I opened the door. His eyes widened slightly. You look beautiful. You look surprised that I can clean up. I'm surprised every time I see you. In general. We drove to the gala in his car. Just the two of us in the back while Frost drove. Security followed in separate vehicles. Why did you want me at this event? I asked. Because these galas are where business gets done. Deals get made. Alliances form. And lately, they're also where people try to kill me. I want you close because you notice things others don't. No pressure then. I have faith in your anxiety. The gala was overwhelming. Hundreds of people, all wealthy, all connected, all watching Kieran like he was either someone to befriend or someone to fear. We mingled. He introduced me as his household manager, which felt like a promotion from housekeeper. People were polite but curious. Who was I? Where did I come from? Why was I at Kieran Castellano's side? Then I saw him. Across the room. Older man, sharp suit, cold eyes. Looking directly at Kieran with an expression that made my skin crawl. Who's that? I whispered. Victor Cub. My heart stopped. The man who'd called me. The man who wanted Kieran dead. The man who'd killed Natalia. He's here? He's a philanthropist. Or pretends to be. Gets invited to everything. Cub started walking toward us. If you haven't subscribed yet, do it right now because this confrontation is about to get intense and you do not want to miss what happens next. Kieran, Cub said, reaching us. His voice was the same as on the phone. Accented, smooth, terrifying. What a pleasure to see you out and about. After the recent incidents, I was worried you'd become a recluse. Victor. Always a pleasure. They shook hands like civilized men. Like one hadn't tried to poison the other multiple times. And who is this lovely companion? Cub turned his attention to me. My household manager, East Law clerk. His eyes lit with recognition. Ah yes. The one with the remarkable timing. I've heard about your accident at the dinner party. Very fortunate. For Kieran, at least. I'm naturally clumsy. Lucky him. Indeed. Cub smiled. It was the smile of a shark. Miss Clerk, might I have a word in private? I'm always looking for talented staff. Miss Clerk stays with me, Kieran said. His voice was polite but firm. Of course. But the offer stands. Should you ever want a change of scenery, I pay very well. I'm happy where I am. For now. His smile widened. But circumstances change. People change. Loyalties shift. Not mine. We'll see. He walked away and I realized I'd been holding my breath. That was terrifying, I said. That was a threat. To both of us. What do? We stay alert. And we don't separate. The gala continued but I couldn't relax. Cub kept watching us from across the room. Every time I looked up, his eyes were on me. We were at the bar getting drinks when I felt it again. That anxiety spike. That rawness. I scanned the room. Everyone looked normal. Wealthy people doing wealthy people things. Then I saw the server. Young man, maybe 25, carrying a tray of champagne. Moving through the crowd toward us. Something about his eyes. Too focused. Too determined. Kieran, I whispered. I see him. The server reached us. Smiled. Professional, perfect. Champagne? No thank you, Kieran said. The server's smile tightened. Just slightly. He set down the tray, reached for something. Frost appeared from nowhere, grabbed the server's arm, twisted it behind his back. A syringe fell from his sleeve. Chaos erupted. Security moved in. The server was dragged away. The crowd panicked. Kieran pulled me close, shielding me with his body. We need to leave. Now. We rushed to the exit. More security surrounded us. Got us to the car. We sped away while sirens approached behind us. In the car, I was shaking. That was the second time. Second time I'd noticed something. Second time I'd maybe saved his life. You okay? Kieran asked. I should be asking you that. I'm used to it. You're not. I'm starting to be. He took my hand. Squeezed. I'm sorry you're caught up in this. I chose to stay. You shouldn't have. But I did. We drove back to the mansion in silence. His hand stayed in mine the whole way. That night, after security swept the house, after everyone else had gone to bed, I found Kieran in his study. Drinking whiskey, staring at nothing. "Can't sleep?" I asked from the doorway. "Never can." "Not really." "Not since Natalia." I walked in. Sat on the couch across from his desk. "Tell me about her. If you want to." He looked at me for a long moment. Then started talking. He told me about meeting Natalia at a charity event, much like tonight's gala. About falling in love fast and hard. About her insisting she could handle his dangerous life. About believing her. About the day Cubs men came to their home while Kieran was at a business meeting. About getting the call from security. About racing back to find her dying on the floor of the library. About holding her while she bled out, telling her it would be okay when they both knew it wouldn't be. "I promised her I'd make Cub pay," he said quietly. "But 3 years later, he's still alive. Still coming after me. Still winning." "He's not winning. You're still alive." "Barely. Thanks to you. Thanks to dumb luck and anxiety." "No." He stood, walked around the desk. Sat beside me on the couch. "Thanks to you. Your instincts. Your awareness. Your refusal to ignore things that feel wrong. We were close. Too close. The air between us felt electric." "Kieran," I said quietly. "Don't," he said, but he didn't move away. "Don't what?" "Don't look at me like that. Like I'm someone worth saving. I'm not. I'm dangerous. Everyone around me gets hurt. I'm already around you." "Already hurt" would probably be better than "definitely will be." "That's not funny." "I'm not joking." His hand came up, touched my face. Gentle. Tentative. "If I do this," he whispered, "if I let this happen, I'll destroy you. Just like I destroyed Natalia. Then destroy me. But don't push me away because you're scared." "I'm terrified." "Me too." He kissed me. Soft at first, then desperate. Like he was drowning and I was air. His hands in my hair, my hands gripping his shoulders. This was wrong. He was my boss. This was professional suicide. This was dangerous in 17 different ways. I didn't care. We pulled apart, both breathing hard. "This is a terrible idea," he said. "The worst. I'm going to get you killed. Probably. You should run. Right now. Before this gets worse." "I'm not running." "Then you're an idiot." "I know." He kissed me again. And in that moment, in his study, while enemies plotted and danger waited and everything pointed toward disaster, I made my choice. I was staying. Not for the money. Not for safety. But for him. Comment below if you think Isla just made the best or worst decision of her life and hit that subscribe button because part 2 is going to be absolutely explosive and you will not believe what happens next.